Samantha, what is the husband saying in this lawsuit?
This is a crazy story, Dr. Drew. Quite possibly could be a candidate for forensic files, just saying. But okay, so the suspicious activities, okay, or the allegations, I should say, alarm had been deactivated from inside the house, didn't call his parents after the shooting, met her lover for coffee the very next morning. When police returned to search the home, she asked if they had a warrant, and then the gun used was an antique Derringer. Her parents had given her a Derringer. However, the bullet was too badly damaged to determine if it came from that particular gun.
But somebody suspects it might be the gun.
And yes, and if I recall, and I could be wrong, so I remember reading that there could have been some evidence suggesting that that gun was fired.
Okay,
so even though they couldn't locate the bullet, they believe the gun was fired.
Let's go to the law enforcement expert. Evie, do you think she tried to kill him?
The information that we're seeing, the fact that she wanted to search, she asked police for a search warrant before they entered her home, that really strikes me odd. If somebody had come into my house, shot my husband in the head, then hit me as well, I'd be like, I'd open that door wide open. Come on in. What do you need? Also, she washed the sheets and all these other incidents. The fact that she has a lover again doesn't mean somebody's indicative of doing something like this, but it gives motive. I would want to know, though, Dr. Drew, when did the husband find out she was cheating on her? Because I know that this is coming after the fact. So I'd want to pinpoint at what point he found out. Did he find out after she filed for divorce? Because that would make sense that he's coming out now saying, I think my wife tried to kill me. Because if he found out about the lover now, he may be connecting those dots, and it may be making sense now. That's why he's making these allegations.
All right, Sam, is there other stuff in the lawsuit that we should know?
Yes. Okay, so a quote from the lawsuit that I would love to share with you guys. Quote, with Kenneth no longer in the picture, Emily could avoid a contentious divorce, keep the marital home, and never admit the marriage infidelity to any family and friends. So a good way for her to save face, perhaps.
Lonnie, do you think it's a good idea to file a lawsuit while this is still an open investigation?
Well, I think he might be frustrated and say, look, I've been waiting for a year. No criminal charges have come, so let me go ahead and file the criminal case. I believe I have enough evidence. It's a lower standard of proof for the civil case. It puts everything out there, and I might get some money out of it. So there's really no downside to him prosecuting or suing at this point. It's interesting, though, the prosecutors might not be so thrilled that he's going ahead with his lawsuit at this point. It would be a good question whether he's had any communication with law enforcement and the prosecutors or not.
Leanne, what do you think of this case?
Oh, my gosh, Dr. Drew. I think she's guilty.
Why?
I mean, if somebody had come in the middle of the night, like Evie had said, shot my husband, I would be going crazy. I wouldn't be having coffee with my lover the next morning. I wouldn't be asking the cops, do you have a search warrant? When you come back to the house to investigate the scene, I wouldn't have washed my sheets. Also, they said in the report that they have a dog, and the dog didn't even act like there was an intruder. So there were so many things, Dr. Drew.
There was weird, too. The guy, the victim, didn't know he'd been shot when he woke up. He woke up and said, oh, my jaw hurts.
They said it went through the back of his head, through his cheek, and lodged into his cheekbone.
I mean, why would anybody in this panel, why would somebody break into a house, hit a wife over the head, walk upstairs, shoot a guy in the back of the head, and then leave?
And take nothing. And take nothing.
Yeah, but Dr. Drew, why didn't he come up with this beforehand? It's interesting that he didn't see any problem with it until after she filed for divorce. He continued to live in the home with her, with their 2 children. We don't know how old they are, but apparently he didn't feel like he was in danger there with her.